Good afternoon to all my viewers. So today I'll be talking about the top 10 worst courses to study in Namibia. These are the type of courses that will make it hard for you to get a job upon graduation. But having a qualification in any of these courses is better than sitting at home doing nothing. But for the sake of career guidance, when you are going to further studies with any university in Namibia, make sure these courses are the last option. When you have exhausted all the options, these courses should be the last option. But when you have options, please stay away from the following courses. Top 10 worst courses to study in Namibia. Because if you study these courses, it will be very difficult for you to get a job. Especially in Namibia, it will be very, very, very difficult. These courses are very irrelevant in Namibia. But they are being offered by UNAM, NAST, IUM, Velvicia. They are being offered. But please, if you want to get a job, because I believe we all go for studies in order for us to get qualification, which will enable us to get a job. Because no one goes to get a qualification just to keep it at home like an ID. No. You want a qualification in order for you to get a job. So if you want to get a job, please stay away from the following courses. These courses have been proven to be very useless. After graduation, you'll be home with your qualification. No job for you, especially in Namibia. So the top 10 worst courses to study in Namibia are as follows. So at number 10, we have microbiology. Microbiology is one of the toughest courses at UNAM. Very tough. Some people go for microbiology as a bridging course to School of Medicine. Sometimes you'll be told there's no space, go inside microbiology. If you pass with an average of a C, you'll be given an opportunity the following year to go and study medicine. But the following year, when you go back after scoring an average of a C or even a B or even A's in everything, microbiology, go to School of Medicine for enrollment, you'll be told there's no space. Come the following year. The following year, after scoring another above C average, you'll be told come the following year, there's no space. First priority is given to those from high school. Before you know it, you are done. You have a degree in microbiology. Getting a job becomes nearly impossible for you until you become a relief teacher. You'll have to wait for a biology teacher to get pregnant so you can relieve them for 3 months, or a temporary teacher on 3 or 4 month contract. If you are lucky, maybe 1 year. And then in the end, you go for a postgraduate diploma in education so you can become a qualified teacher. After having a qualification in biology, in microbiology, which is one of the toughest courses in Namibia. It's very tough, but getting a job is nearly impossible. Back in the days, people could easily get a jobs with microbiology in Namibian breweries and some of these labs, but now it's very hard to get a job with microbiology. So we are moving on to number 9, political studies. Political studies is a very useless course. Politicians in Namibia do not have qualification in political studies. Do your research properly. Do your research properly. With a degree, ordinary degree, you can hardly get a job with political studies in Namibia. If you want to be like Jobo Ampanda, go and do a master's and then PhD so you can become a lecturer. Otherwise, with just an ordinary degree in political studies, it's nearly impossible for you to get a job. Even seeing a post in the secular asking for qualification in political studies is hard. It's very rare. And the funny thing about political studies or political science, when you see a post where they're asking for people with qualifications in political science, for the same post, they also ask for people with degrees in law, public management, public administration, economics, to the point where by one post, 1,000 people will be shortlisted. A post that was only supposed to be for people with qualifications in political science. They will call people from different professions, then they'll go for a written test, then in the end you'll be knocked out. So political studies, in as much as it sounds nice, after watching Julius Malema, after watching Malcolm X, after watching Barack Obama, after watching a lot of legendary politicians like Nelson Mandela's speech, you become inspired. You want to become a politician, then you go and study political science. My dear, you will regret. There's no job for such things. Let's move on. We're moving on to number 8, sociology. Sociology is a very useless course. Very, very useless. Most people who go for sociology are people who wanted to study law. They never got a chance. They wanted to go for social work. They never got a chance. Then in the end, sociology. They don't even understand. They don't even know one person who studies sociology that they are aware of who's working. They don't even know. It just sounds nice, sociology. You are just there. There's no job for sociologists in Namibia. Nothing. Unless you go for a PhD and become a lecturer. But just with a degree in sociology, you hardly get a job in Namibia. Let's move on. Education majoring in mother tongue, e.g. Lozi and Rukwangali, etc. So if you study education, the moment you major in Lozi, language, mother tongue, like Lozi, Rukwangali, Kwekwe, Oshiherero, Dambati, Oshihere, Oshiwambo, Oshikwanyama, Oshindo, getting a job becomes very hard. Because it even limits you. If you majored in Lozi, you can only get a job in Zambezi region, which becomes very difficult for you to get a job. So education, mother tongue is one of the most useless courses. Let's move on. Bachelor of Hospitality and Tourism Management degree. If you study Bachelor of Tourism or Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality, my dear, forget about Babata National Park, forget about Mudumu National Park, forget about Etosha National Park. We have different national parks in Namibia, but getting a job with a qualification in tourism and in hospitality in Namibia is it's very hard. The funny thing about tourism is there's tourism at UNA, NAST tourism, IUM tourism, VTC tourism everywhere. Namu Water is offering tourism. To go and work where? There's no job. Let's move on. Number 5, public management and administration. If you think you're going to work at NIPAM like Disho with a degree in public management and administration, you should forget about it. This course is very useless. A degree level is very, very useless. There's no job for you if you have this qualification. Let's move on. Number 4, media studies. If you think you'll be on TV because of a degree in media studies or journalism, you should forget. NBC, most people who see reporting news on NBC are from the School of Arts. NBC and most of these newspaper companies, they prefer graduates from the School of Arts. They don't like graduates from NAST with this journalism, and the graduates from UNAM with media studies. It's very hard for to get a job in media studies. So stay away from this course. Let's move on. Number 3, we have industrial psychology. Yeah, industrial psychology, it's all about organizational behavior. So at UNAM, they are calling it industrial psychology. If you go to NAS, they call it HR. IUM, they all call it HR. But most companies, when they're looking for HR or human resource officers, they prefer someone who did human resource from NAST or IUM. If you apply with industrial psychology, they will hardly consider you. It's like for them, they don't know it as human resource. They think industrial psychology is something else. So getting a job with a qualification in industrial psychology, even HR itself, human resource, is nearly impossible. If you go to IUM and study for a qualification in human resource, or go to UNAM and study for a qualification in industrial psychology, you are wasting your time. Getting a job will be very hard for you. But if you're already studying, don't quit, continue and finish. But getting a job, one thing I want you to know, if you're already studying industrial psychology or human resource, getting a job is hard. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is business administration. Business administration has nothing to do with business. It's like a secretary. You become a secretary. You study to become a secretary. So the name business management or business administration should not deceive you. But if you go for an MBA, a master's in business administration, chances of you getting a job with a CEO or a job with a high position in the government or in any organization are very high. But at degree level, business administration, you become a secretary, no job. And even getting that job as a secretary. And the funny thing about business administration, when you look at the circular or vacancies in newspapers, you see it's coming out a lot. Business administration, business administration, business administration. But now, you apply, they won't even call you for interviews. When they call you, are 500 for one post. Getting a job of business administration is very high. Stay away from that course. It's very useless, in as much as it sounds nice. But it has nothing to do with business. Nothing. We are moving on to the number one, the most useless course you can ever study in Namibia is this one. Education, lower or junior primary. This course is the most useless course. But it's better than staying at home doing nothing. Lower primary. It automatically comes with mother tongue. Lower primary UNAM, lower primary IUM, lower primary IOL, lower primary NAMCOL, lower primary Lingua, lower primary Transfit, lower primary what. It's lower primary everywhere. To go and work where? The funny thing, you know why it's very difficult to get a job as a lower primary teacher? Because you'll find one teacher teaching 10 subjects. So the subjects that are taught by others, if you're to be teaching upper primary, you're going to be sharing subjects. If you teach languages, just languages. Science, science. History, history. Agriculture, agriculture. But if you're teaching lower primary, you teach everything alone. And a teacher for lower primary at your village, if she's younger than 30 years, that teacher will be there until she retires. So if you want to wait for her person to retire before you get that job, my dear, by the time the person retires, you are also 60 already. So this lower primary course is very useless. It's nearly impossible for you to get a job. This is where you will see over 1,000 people going for to be interviewed for one post, teaching post one. It's because of this qualification in lower primary or junior primary. Chances of getting a job are very, very low. Some institutions or some people study lower primary as a bridging course. Maybe your points are not enough to qualify for upper primary or secondary or any honors degree. So you go for lower primary after passing lower with the intention of using it as a bridging course. So after finishing this one, you go for the other course of your choice, which is a good idea. But if you just want to study education in lower primary and stop there, I'm telling you, getting a job will be very hard. It will be very, very hard for you. Very hard. So we are done with our video for today. Do not be discouraged. Choice is yours. I just want you to make an informed decision. But one thing I want you to know is the 10 courses I just discussed now, these courses will make it hard for you to get a job in Namibia. It will be very, very, very hard for you. So please, before you go for any of these courses, make sure you have exhausted all the other options. And if you are studying a course like lower primary, even if you apply for police and your name comes out, please quit and just go. Police, NDA for Namibian Correctional Service, just go. After you are done, you can come do it on distance or part-time. Don't turn out down a government job because of a qualification in lower primary, because you will regret. We are done with our video for today. Please subscribe to my channel.